field. I have a 100% winning record as a basketball coach. Does anyone want to guess how I've achieved that?
You don't coach? Haven't coached?
My win record is 0-0. That means I have 0 losses, but I also have 0 wins. I've worked for Basketball Australia for 2 years. Prior to that, I was a high performance coach in cricket. Prior to that, I was a high performance coach in soccer. I worked for West Ham United and Glasgow Celtic in the English and Scottish Premiership, and then moved to New Zealand to play professional cricket, and then came to Victoria to coach. I was the spin bowling coach for the Victorian women's side in the Melbourne Renegades. I have done countless coaching qualifications myself, but ultimately a coaching qualification is just something that helps you improve. So coming today is just as good as going to get an accreditation or anything like that. What I'm going to run through today is the first 10 or 15 minutes is going to be me talking, and then Daniel is going to have the kids on the court, and then while they're going, I'm going to be talking to you. So it's invaluable that Daniel's here to actually do the basketball coaching part of it, although I did play in school, but I'll leave Daniel to do the X's and O's. So, first things first, I'm going to do a little bit of what we call the community basketball commandments. So these are our commandments, they don't have to be yours. Alright? So number 1 is start practice on time. So we've done that, give or take a couple of minutes. Alright? Number 2 is have a practice plan. Me and Daniel spent half an hour this afternoon coming up with that. But if something goes wrong, don't be afraid to change it. Alright? Plan is plan, but as we all know, sometimes the best laid plans of mice and men finish the quote. Alright? How old are you guys? 10, 11. If I say 20 words, how many of the 20 words could you repeat back to me, do you think? 7? Anyone reckon they could get more than 7? No? Alright. 7's probably optimistic, but I like your confidence. In an average 10-year-old, they will remember 30% of what you say to them within a minute. Every minute that goes beyond that, it degrades by 5%. Alright? So when you are trying to explain something, do it in parts that add up to the whole. Don't ever try and explain something like, don't go through the whole session, this is what we're going to do at the start, this is then what we're going to do. Because they won't remember. They'll barely remember what they're doing next before you get to the end. Alright? I don't have any issues with talking to a group. Alright? I don't have any problem making my voice the loudest one in the room. You don't have to have that loud voice, you don't have to shout to be a coach, you don't have to always be talking. You can have a presence on the floor in another way, alright? And that's one of our commandments, is that the coach should have a presence on the floor. It doesn't have to be that they're vocal all the time, it's that the players see that they're there, that they're engaged, that they're involved. Okay? I'm going to talk about the vegetables today as well. So this is one of my colleague Peter Lonergan's thing. What's number 10? What's your favourite part of basketball? Honestly, I don't care. No. On the court. What's your favourite thing to do in basketball?
You picked the wrong one.
41. Scoring. Alright, that's the answer I was expecting. Scoring, shooting, running a fast break, something like that. You'll go, number 10 will go far. What you have to do, the majority of kids in their honest answer would be shooting, something fun, making a difference, outcome focused. So you have to hide the vegetables, as most of you will be parents. You have to hide the vegetables somewhere in the pasta to make them eat it. Alright, so we'll talk about that a little bit during today. Pace of practice is important. We talk about practices, we use the acronym FISH, alright? So everything that you do should be fun, should be inclusive, it should be safe, and it should be high intensity, alright? High intensity doesn't mean rushing everywhere, but anyone that was here earlier watching the under 10s practice that was going on, there was 3 kids that were doing this, alright? Because only one person was shooting at a time. So as soon as the kids aren't doing something, their mind starts to wander. I have an 8-year-old, I'm the assistant coach of his footy team. They trained tonight back in Melbourne. I asked my father-in-law who took him to training tonight, and that was the first time he'd ever watched the training. I was like, what was it? And he played rep rugby back in New Zealand. And he said, your co-coach does God's work because that's like herding cats. I texted Matt, my co-coach, and he said, yeah, it was a tough one tonight. They just were not there. So, even the good people struggle with it. Alright? Next one's simple. Make sure and tell players when they do something right. Okay? Get around them, build their confidence. Alright? So much of sport is linked to success and failure. Alright? Ultimately, in games, there can only be one winner. Even at the professional level, only one team gets a chip every year. Alright? At this level, you have to find the wins all the time. Build that confidence. Don't get sick of praise. On the part of the players, we're at commandment number 9 for anyone keeping count. There's 3 to go. The only thing that these kids have to bring to practice every week is their voice to communicate, their brains to listen and learn. So 2 things, kids aren't afraid to talk, they can't forget their brains no matter how much they try, and effort. So really the only thing that kids have to bring to practice is trying, and that's what you need to reinforce to them. If possible, always make practice as game-like as possible. You will see like drills where people have chairs out and things like that to replicate defenders, and then they'll have people in a queue waiting to go. So like dribble around a chair, or get to a chair and do take a spot-up shot, and there's 3 kids standing over there just watching. Make the chair a player. They don't have to do anything, they can just be in that position and actually just move, but make it as realistic as possible. And the last 2 are for you guys. You never think at the end of a practice, you never think a practice is as good as it can be, but it's never as bad as you think it is. Does that make sense? Even if it's gone awfully, and you go, geez, we didn't hit any of the things that were on my practice plan. All we did was like a scrimmage for 15 minutes, and then I tried to do a passing drill, and then we finished with a bit of a game of horse or something. As long as the kids leave smiling and leave happy, you've done your job. Alright, reflect on it, make some changes for next time. Remember, it's never as bad as you think it is. Okay? And the last thing, the girl that did the under 10s, again, just a real repeatable example. Everyone would have seen that. She brought them in, she spoke to them for 2 minutes, they did their hands in, chant, and then whatever club they were from, and then left. Short, sharp, 2 minutes roughly summation, and then finished on a good note where everyone felt that they were part of the team, they've achieved something. Alright? So I'll send these, or Daniel will send these out afterwards, so you don't have to remember them. Okay? But there are commandments that we talk about, and like I'm going to say later, there is very little difference between what happens here tonight with those under 10s and what happens in Canberra at the COE. Alright? We could take that under 10s coach and get her to run a session with the COE boys or girls. She'd have to do less coaching because the kids would pick it up a lot quicker, and she'd have to do more planning to challenge the players more. But in essence, dribbling, shooting, rebounding, passing. The fundamentals of basketball don't change. How do you challenge those skills? So a quick question for the room. What is the purpose of training? Why do we have training? There's no wrong answers, please. Build skill? Yep. Skill acquisition? Yep. 1. Build confidence? Yep. Individual confidence? Yep. I've got 4 written down, so there's 2 more.
Improve game performance.
How?
Or by going over the drills, etc., so that when you come game day, you don't have to think, you just do.
So does that improve game performance, or does that improve team performance?
Team performance.
Team performance. So the reason it doesn't improve game performance is what can you control?
Individual performance. As in a player?
No, as a coach, in the practice, what can you control? You can control your team,
yes.
Right? What can't you control on a game day?
The other team?
The other team. So the other team could come out and Daniel and Nick have suddenly found the Victor Wembanyama of Launceston, and you've got some kind of, well, it wouldn't be 7'2", but you'd be, let's say, 5'1" or something, and all of a sudden he's towering over these other kids, and you can't control that. You've prepared your kids as best you can, but all of a sudden you've got this external factor that you can't control. So team, skill development, skill acquisition, individual skills. Last one, what's the purpose of training? It's a 3-letter word. You'll go far, you in number 10. Either men's down. I reckon AJC's in like whatever 5 years. Nah, another 3-letter word. Fun. Alright? It's gotta be fun. Alright? That's why we train. Alright? So Daniel, if you want to start getting the kids set up for the first drill. If you might have to bunch up a little bit just because when the balls start bouncing, if you can't hear me, let me know. Within these drills, if you can't explain a drill in 30 seconds to a minute to the kids, you need to be really clear in your mind what the value of the detail is that you're having to spend that extra time on. Alright? So if it's taking you 3 minutes to explain a drill, what is the outcome that those extra 2 minutes are going to give you? Like, what is the skill that you're developing? What is the team dynamic that this is going to create? What is the practical individual skills this is going to grow in each player? Because I guarantee you, if you're spending 2 minutes on it, it's probably not going to be the 4th one, which is fun. Alright? Something fun shouldn't take 2 minutes extra to explain. Okay? If you have a team of young people that are a bit spacey and aren't always with it, don't try and run something complicated, all right? Because you'll just frustrate yourself more than they will develop, okay? Whose son is number 41? Right, can you stand up? Sorry. So you're 6 foot? Alright. So 41, give or take, will probably end up being 6 foot. Is your wife tall? Partner? No, so he might be smaller. Alright? The minute he's the tallest one there. Alright? So he's probably a bad coach, which no one here is. Probably put him in the 5 spot because he's going to get more rebounds. He's going to get more defense opportunities. Alright? What you should have is him playing point guard. Alright? What you should have is the smallest kid playing centre. Because what's going to happen in 3 years' time, all the other kids will either have got up to 41 or gone past it. But if you spend all your time winning, which he playing centre gives you the best chance to do, in 3 years' time you won't be able to play any other position and all the kids will be jumping over it. Alright? So whilst it will feel a bit uncomfortable at the time, challenge the players. That's what will help them develop skills, is putting them in those uncomfortable positions where sometimes they do lose, things like that. Last 2 things before we start the drill. Don't allow players to get upset at failure. Alright? In a game, they can only control the process. Alright? What happens, the outcomes, no one can control the outcomes in sport. If people could control the outcomes in sport, it would be a lot more boring because everyone would be winning and no one would be losing. But if they do everything right and the ball doesn't go in, so be it. Okay? Don't let them get upset. And the last thing before Daniel starts, don't make drills unrealistic, alright? No one is ever going to get a shot in the same spot every time, alright? You're not always going to be able to get corner three, you're not always going to be able to be open to the elbow. Move them round, make them do it again speed, alright? 10,000 hours theory works as a theory, doesn't work in practice because it's not. Why? Good. Right, Danny, can we get the first drill going, please? Ready? Ready, set, go! What did you see? Tell me what you saw. Yep. 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 So, pass the ball, then start closing out. Okay? Offensive player then had to dribble around, find the shot, take the shot. Then what happened? Rebound or make. Alright? Then the switch round. Alright? So, in that we covered dribbling, check. One person, once they switch round, dribbling, check. Shooting, check. Closing out, check. Defense, man-on-man defense. Rebounding, check. Boxing out, check. Alright? That's a lot of things that happen in one drill. Alright? And you see, like, not everyone's going to be playing, having a full court for practice. Alright? I know spaces at premium, everything like that. But even in a half court, you've got 6 of them going. Alright? You could probably have had 8 in a half court. Alright? What we're going to do is quickly, Daniel, I'll keep these 4 here. Take those 2. And then we'll start talking about the next drill. Right? So, we'll just go from along. Alright? We've got just now. No. That's alright. Alright? Here, so you two are teammates. Alright? Same deal, same thing. Your teammates. So she's still in Dublin. You two are teammates now. Got it? Go. No. Oh. Good. Right, now your teammates are the girls are getting on the ball. So you're the closer out, yeah. Right, now 2 on 2, go. We'll go into 2 girls in the singlets versus the hoodie and the white t-shirt, right? Let's go. Alright, keep going in the background. Just keep going. Switching it up. Alright? See how we've now added on 2 more of them. Still doing the same thing. Another concept. Passing, moving. Alright? Good. Good. Talking. See what hasn't stopped happening? The defenders are still focused on what the key thing was. The kids would never refer to it as this, but the unsexy part of training, like 2 that have to close out are still closing out. Okay? You add to the end, it's a bit more game-like, there's movement, there's passing, alright? You keep building that up until you get to a 5-on-5, identified the skill, named the skill, and you've got it all going at once. You can just build it up until you get to a scrimmage and then you can actually go right and try and play first to 15, first to 7, whatever you want to play. Alright? Right, girls, stop playing. Alright, so while Daniel's setting up, this one that we're going to talk about is shooting. Alright, now, who wants to show me what the perfect shooting technique is? Any volunteers? I promise I will not mock you. Sorry, mate.
I watched the uniform.
Sorry, mate. Alright, just stand there, You don't have to actually shoot a ball. Just stand there, face me, and I want you to shoot the ball. Not bad. Sorry.
You're better at washing uniforms.
One more. Alright, now, thank you. I appreciate it. That was actually pretty, like, technical. Alright? Like that. It wasn't quite like this. It wasn't the old behind the head. Definitely wasn't the Brent Barry granny style. Alright? There's 3, that's not what you would see. Like, with, again, under 10, you see the kids doing the heaves like this. like behind their head, like that, yep, from their chest, right? Again, they're thrown into their bodies. There's 3 times that as a coach you intervene and change the shooting technique. Does anyone want to tell me what the 3 times are? And this is the same for this is a COE. Coaches would think they can change shooting technique. They can't. Alright? It's like changing someone, teaching someone to walk again. Alright? They've learned that way, they have to grow out of it. Alright? Or find their own way. Alright? You change shooting techniques 3 times. Alright? 3 things happen. One of 3 things happen. First one is if it's not safe. Alright? When we talk about it not being safe, we mean counter rotation. So if their feet are facing forward, but they're rotating like that, and shooting like that, that's not safe. It's going to cause stress fractures, rotation, shoulder impingement, stuff like that. Alright? So it's not safe. Alright? Then you change it, try and straighten them up. Alright? Either move their feet so they're more like that, or get their hips and shoulders in alignment. Alright? If it's not effective, alright? What's an effective shooting percentage for under 10?
10%.
10%? Yeah. Alright? So I don't mean effective as in Steph Curry, 93% from the free throw line. If they can hit the backboard 1 out of 10 times, that's effective for an under 10. Alright? You don't have to change it. Okay? Because they will, as they grow into it, get more. But if they can't even hit the backboard, that's when you maybe go, right, what can we change? Alright? The third time is if it's not consistent. Alright? And I mean by consistent is if 1 minute they're doing this, the next minute they're doing that, they're doing that. Or if they actually have a decent technique to start, but then the next minute, when they get tired in the 4th quarter, they're starting to rotate to get that extra power. That's when you intervene and change it. Okay? Daniel, you start this drill. We'll watch for another couple of minutes and then we'll chat about it. Shooters ready? Ready, set, go. The Dancing Panda awareness test. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? So there's this famous, go look it up, Moonwalking Bear it's called. Look it up on YouTube when you go home. It's a video that Road Safety Australia did. And it's all these people in white passing a basketball, and at the start of the video it says, count how many passes the team, how many passes the team make in the basketball. About 10 seconds in, they moonwalks through. 75% of people on average don't see the moonwalking bear because they count the number of passes. So you don't see what you're not looking for. So that drill was a bit chaotic. We'll come to that in a minute. But there was one kid that was doing something different to the rest of them. Does anyone know which kid it was? Nope. Nah, that was a little bit of chaos, but whose child is number 23? Alright, Dad, no fault of yours. Number 23, he was born, this drill's called Catch the Pro. Alright, so 23 was the pro. He didn't have a partner. Alright, he was shooting and rebounding his own balls. Alright? The objective of this was, you see the different spots on the floor? Each group started on a different spot on the floor. Alright? The pro didn't have to worry about like someone else getting his ball, bad pass, anything like that. He shot, followed his shot, got his own rebound, went to the next one, did that. Alright? Everyone else had a partner who was rebounding, outlet passing to them. Okay? What were the vegetables in that drill? Rebounding, yeah. What else? One massive one. So, kid shoots, partner shoots. Now, player one shoots, player two rebounds the ball. Player one then goes to the next point. What's player two got to do when he rebounds? Well, what's he going to do? He's going to find his partner, alright, and then he's got to outlet pass to his partner. Alright, so exactly the same as in a game. Someone shoots, defensive rebound or offensive rebound, you go up, get the ball, and then unless you can immediately put it back in, you're looking for a teammate. Where can they go? Where can I either start right or where can I get the ball to my partner? Okay? So again, quite chaotic. Danny wanted to get all the kids involved, which is great. When we did it at this board meeting, that was like 6 or 8 kids, stagger where the pairs start on the thing. You set up the shooting spots wherever is realistic and game-like. So if you have kids, if you're coaching a team that can jack threes, sure, put a shot behind the 3-point line, let them practice it. If that is not realistic for your team, have it where you think realistic shots are for your team and get them practice. Alright, so I've spent, Daniel, just let me know when you're going to go. Yeah, right. I've spent a lot of time talking, I've used the word chaos, I think, 3 times so far in this presentation. Basketball is in essence exactly the same as AFL footy, and it's the same as soccer. Alright? It is an innovation sport. Alright? It's different to rugby union and rugby league where the ball has to go backwards to go forwards. It's a 360 sport, the ball can go all around. Alright? You are trying to get into your opposition's territory and you can get there like that. What that means is chaos. Because the ball can go from one end to the other very quickly, okay? It means that sometimes as a coach, you have to actually be comfortable in chaos because a game can very quickly descend into chaos. So the issue is, how do you coach the players to be prepared for that chaos? Because you can shout them and go hoarse on the sidelines when it does start to break down, but again, and this is where one of the great faults of basketball is as parents, unfortunately, and I can say that, I'm a parent, alright? You're shouting when it's chaos. He's shouting at number, I forgot what number his son was. 23. 23, what are you doing? Where's your partner? Why have you lost your partner and you're doing something different? Meanwhile, you're trying to tell them, remember what we practiced on Friday? So he's got him going, oh, you're trying to, alright? So you've got to prepare the team for chaos a little bit. Right, Daniel?
Absolutely. Yeah. Good to go. Guys, you ready to start? Ready? Go! Pass, pass, go, run, go!
first person that notices one of the constraints. No bouncing, no dribbling. Nice. Right. Keep going, just play from there, play from there. How do you think Daniel explained that drill? What did the kids have to do? So dribble? Yeah. Pass? Yeah. That is a really good pickup. Now, Daniel, you tell the kids they couldn't talk?
They couldn't talk? Yeah, you can say that word.
You're 100% right though. They stopped talking. Alright? God knows why. Alright? I could not tell you why they stopped talking. Me and Daniel were watching the under 10 practice, and I said to Daniel, the one thing that kids like, it's that old adage that husbands say to wives, or wives say to husbands, you can't multitask. Alright? Kids are the same. I said to Daniel, it doesn't matter if it's footy, soccer, basketball, as soon as a kid is dribbling and the teammate calls for a pass, they just stand there like this. Daniel, pass me the ball, pass me the ball, pass me the ball. They stop moving. Alright? Instead of moving and going, Daniel, the ball, Daniel, let's go. Alright? That drill should actually have sent it skewed the other way. It should have really made them talk. But for some reason they just, and they're just moving around like this looking for passes. Alright? So that's an element of the chaos. Alright? With that, when you do that, you're trying to go, right, how can we increase the movement? So by not letting the kids dribble the ball and making them look for the pass, it forces them to challenge themselves and think if they are coming up against someone who's a really good defender, how can we pass our way out of it? Okay? Last one. Right, Danny, let's go! Ready? Go! Ready, go! Go! Hurry up! is stay in front of it. Okay? Same deal. You're trying to stay in front of whatever class. So you're running backwards, so just be careful, but you're just staying in front of it. Right? Ready? Let's go. So same, you should do that. Yes. Can anyone give me one word to describe what that was? Okay? Yeah? True? Is it complicated? Is that pretty basic, what they just did? Yeah? That one probably took Daniel the least amount of explaining? Yeah? Alright? It was basic. All it was, dribble from one end of the court to the other as fast as you can. Bit of a relay race. Instead of having your teammates waiting for you there, they were shooting free throws while they wait and they rotate in. So, inclusive, high intensity. Alright? Got it going. Okay? I added the level to it to build in a bit more engagement with the defender in front of them. So they got in that habit of being comfortable tracking backwards if someone was dribbling at them. They weren't trying to disrupt the drill. You can make them disrupt the drill. You can try and get them to knock the ball out the dribbler's hand. Alright? You can tell the dribbler that they can only dribble with their non-dominant hand. So they have to be comfortable dribbling with their non-dominant hand, and they've still got that person in front of them challenging them. Okay? We had the rebounding, had the person closing out in the rebounding again, so you get that pressure of shooting the free throw and then having to, if you miss the free throw, get your own rebound. Okay? Do all that to say, the most powerful thing that I've learned in basketball in 2 years was from the Boomers coach, Brian Gorgie. And he was asking me about like what I saw as the differences between coaching in soccer and coaching in basketball. But like it was an invasion sport, 360. And we ended up getting into this really deep discussion about shapes. Alright? And that's how Brian sees, that's how he sees plays. He sees it as shapes. Like what shape is the team in? There's only 5 points on a court, and in the most instances there's always a focal point, either a sideline out of bounds, baseline out of bounds, or the point guard usually who has the ball. That's the top of the shape. And then you have 4 other things that make the rectangle on the court. Okay? So is it an absolute square? Is it a bit of a like slanted rectangle? Alright? How wide's the rectangle? How small's the rectangle? Okay? Is there a decoy in the play that really makes it a triangle? Okay? Do all that to say the parameters of the basketball court don't change. The concept of the 2 backboards, the hoops, don't change from under 10s to the Boomers or the Opals, depending on the gender that you're coaching. So when you guys are racking your brain for games and trying to think of things. There's no, like, you don't suddenly get employed by Basketball Australia and go to the COE and like the heavens open and you get handed this mythical book of coaching drills and things to do with players. Alright? All it is what are the constraints that you are challenging your players with, and it can be overloads, as in more defenders than attackers, more attackers than defenders. It can be the time they have to do the drill. It can be taking away a strength or adding a weakness to them, as in you can't dribble, you can dribble more, the other team can't put their hand in, etc., etc. Alright? That's what you've got to think about when, if you're sitting there going, we've done the same drill for 3 weeks, how can we improve it? Think about what constraints you can change. Time, people, score, things like that. Okay? Because ultimately that's all they do in the Boomers. They do things faster, they do things quicker, they do things more reps in a shorter period of time. Okay? That's how players improve. It's not more complicated drills. If you ask, and I've spent some time with the Opal squad, and if you ask them, Tess Madgen and Beck Allen said the same thing when I asked them. The most important thing that they do in practice is the basics. It's dribbling, it's shooting, it's passing, it's rebounding. Alright? It's not what play are we going to run here, what are we going to do. If they can do the basics as an individual player well, then that will help the team as a whole, and you can start developing out the trick plays and the out of bounds plays and the movements and stuff. But if you can dribble, shoot, rebound, you can hang even against like a better, like tactically prepared team. If you're a better team or have better individually technical competent players, the tactics become secondary. Alright? I think I've got some time for questions if anyone has them. I'm happy to answer them. They can be from the kids as well. I'm not afraid to answer a tricky one. If anyone has any, please don't ask me about the Olympic uniforms. I promise Basketball Australia did not authorise it. Yeah, man.
What do you say to kids who don't get enough time on the court? How do you keep them?
Yeah, so are you talking about
Game time.
Yeah. So, is this, as a coach, what do you say to... So I guess the first thing I would say is that below probably under 12s, like probably less than that, yeah, under 13s, whatever the structure of your competition is, you should just emphasize like full rotation, like court time, like it should just be, everyone should get the same, alright? And you lay that out at the start and you go from there. There's always going to be the times where someone has to play something, kid rolls his ankle, someone has to play more minutes. That's just the luck of the draw kind of thing, but like from our perspective, as the game development perspective, we would want below, let's say 13, as because the first kind of national rec tournament started under 14, and I understand that people are going to start getting into sheep stations there. You should be maximising it, because an athlete doesn't reach full physical maturity until they're probably like 15, 16, so it's exactly the same as the scenario I was talking about the son. You could have the most technically gifted, you could have a kid that's an absolute sniper when he's 12, all of a sudden he goes through a growth spurt when he gets to 13 and his arms are too long, her arms are too long, and she can't hit the backside of a barn, and they've played all the minutes over the little kid that's actually a decent shooter but just hasn't had the time in court, and he's ended up giving the game away because we've prioritised outcome over development. All right, so that's my opinion. It's not easy. Don't get me wrong. The biggest thing that I hear when I go, I tell this story all the time. At the under 14 AJCs, I had a coach from a state, not Tasmania, come to me in tears. Like, this is a coach that got his side to the national championships, and he was like, they were like not favoured to get there. They'd won 2 games, they qualified for the quarterfinals. So he was coming to me when his record was 2-1 and he was in the quarterfinals in tears because he just couldn't get the parents off his back going, why is my son not in the court? Like, is the player rotations right? Like, blah, 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 blah. And this is like, he got them there, they'd outperform. Like, so I get it. Like, it's not, sometimes it's not on the coach, it's parents, and that's the biggest challenge. And, like, we spend a lot of time trying to manage that, but ultimately you just have to kind of lay it right down at the start. If they don't like it, then there's plenty of other basketball clubs in Tasmania. I'm sure they could go and play it as long as the club has your back as well. That's the most important thing.
How do you do like is what I call 5, 6, 7, 8.
Playing under 10.
It's a nightmare. So we've got 3 coming 8 and 9 guys, and we've got some talent at 5 and 6 guys. But the difference between the talented 5 and 6 and the now actually play a role is
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I think basketball teams is something usually under 8s. Like,
An under 8s competition. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they will look at that.
but anyway,
I'll let Diamond talk to you afterwards. The biggest thing, and I'll use a bit of a different example. So, I was coaching women's cricket before they were professional, and I coached Premier side in Victoria, and I don't know how many of you actually like cricket. Cricket and basketball don't seem to be one of those sports that people follow, but Molly Strano and Elise Villani, who play for the Tassie Tigers down here, I coached them at the club side. And those two, Australian internationals, world-class athletes. And then I had a 14-year-old from the western suburbs of Melbourne on the same team. I had a mother of 2 who was just a handy club cricketer, all right? And they were in the same team, all right? Because we were just a club side, you needed to put 11 on the field, etc. At training, there was no point Molly bowling to the 14-year-old because she couldn't put a bat on. 1, because she was starstruck that it was Molly Strano, and 2, because the talent gap was just this, right? And it's the same with a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. Like, 1 year of development at that age is massive. Like, so 3 years, not only physically but emotionally, like being able to handle failure, resilience, like it being a bit cold and the ball hitting your hands a bit hard, which I'd imagine is a bigger issue in Tassie than in other places. Yeah, all I can suggest is it puts a lot more effort onto you as a coach. You're almost having to run 2 practices within 1. You're having to try and come up with these drills that we were doing here, like the closeout drill, and you just have to pair them up together based on their talent, ability, and challenge the 8-year-old and the 7-year-old much quicker, and leave the other ones just doing that on repeat kind of thing. But the worst thing to do would be to overload the 7 and 8-year-old to the detriment of the 5 and 6-year-old, where they just have to stand and they start doing thing like the kids would do. Alright? So, again, God's work, as my father-in-law would say, and good luck. Yeah. Alright, well, that's it. Thank you very much to our on-court demonstrators. I really appreciate it. Defense, don't change, alright? Especially with your dad's shooting technique, right? Alright? And winning, I like that as well. Alright, thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Put our hands together.